Hi friends, this is Sanjay Parihar from Houston, Texas. I'm a technologist, and as promised, we wanted to reach out really notable in the tour and travel industry, reach out to them to understand what are the COVID-19 post-measurement they are taking. So here we are, Mr. Adhiraj Singh Sapra, an entrepreneur at the heart, focusing on building the brand and expanding across India. Mr. Adhiraj Singh, owner and MD of Sapura Hotels. One beautiful thing about Mr. Adhiraj is he's representing the young entrepreneur, very dynamic and kind of setting up the examples for young people to try out and to become an entrepreneur. So this is great, Mr. Adhiraj. So as we are going, our audience is very keen to understand about what are the post-COVID-19 measurements is being taken by your hotels? Adhiraj.
Yeah. Thank you, Sanjay, for having me here, and Rohitji as well. So, post-COVID, the measures which the hoteliers, especially if I talk about our hotels, which we already had started taking when this COVID hit India, which was in the last week of Feb. So that time we had started taking all the measures like the 70% alcohol sanitizers, the face masks to be provided to our staff. And I think these measures will continue further when the lockdown is also lifted. These measures will be followed very strictly by that time in all the hotels. And also we have got the solutions for mopping the floors in the rooms, common washrooms, lobbies. So there's a particular chemical which is called sodium hypochlorite, which needs to be mixed in the water, and then you have to clean all the lobbies, the common areas, washrooms with that, which is prescribed by the WHO. So that is one major thing which is being used by all the hotels mostly now. And then apart from that, the Dettol solution can be used for the wiping, the cleaning of the knobs, the telephones, the switches, all that, the other things which are there in the room and the lobbies, etc. And apart from that, there's also, you must be seeing the disinfectant tunnels which have been now introduced by various companies while you enter the hotel or any other any public malls or any other buildings. So now that will also be in the people will start implementing, the hoteliers will start implementing that as well, one for the guest and another for the staff entry, which checks the temperature and the temperature of the guest and the temperature of the staff. While while they are disinfecting you, they check the temperature also. So that is one another thing. Apart from that, you must have also seen the infrared thermometers, which are they are also used for checking the temperatures of the guests, which we also used and we are still using for our staff. So these are the basic measures which post lockdown I think all the hoteliers will be following. And if I talk about precisely again our hotel, we are now planning to have a microbiologist in our hotel. So we'll be having a laboratory which will test the food samples and the staff hygiene. We had plans of this initially, but then we later thought that let's have it in some time. But now since this COVID has had a major impact on our industry, so to have a laboratory will be very useful. And I think in coming times the government will also be making this mandatory, since all the hotels, they are associated in the food business. So it's very important to check the food samples just to ensure that it's 100% hygienic. Right. So we are coming up with the laboratory. As of now, this is the new thing which we are planning to do. So we have finalized a room which will have a lab, and then we'll have a microbiologist sitting over there permanently, and we'll be testing the food samples on a regular basis. So that is one point where we can assure our guests and our travel partners that it's pretty much safe for our hotel to travel, so the guests can come and they can rely on us.
Wow! So there's a great measurement. I mean, it's great to hear about that. There's a microbiologist. There is a tunnel. Yeah. There's so much innovations going on. There's so much activities going on, from technology to even taking care of a bunch of other things, standards, implementing, and so very, very careful about consumer health. Thanks for sharing in detail. This is a great thing. Now I see that this is all the hotels which Shapura Group owns. It's beautiful. And I want to talk about specifically one of the your hotel, Shapura Haveli. It's one of the very prominent hotel and very interesting. And people who are coming from outside, they are definitely want to know more about the location, Mr. Adiraj. So, yeah, tell us more about location of the Shapura Haveli.
Yeah. So basically, Shapura is around 65 kilometers from Jaipur towards Delhi. If you're driving from Jaipur towards Delhi, it's around 65 kilometers, and if you're driving from Delhi, it is around 180 kilometers towards Jaipur. So it's basically like a midway. You can consider it as a midway. And talking about Shapura in general, Shapura is the head seat of the Shekhawati region. Shapura is the head seat of Shekhawati region. The Shekhawati region started from Shapura itself. And then after Shapura, Java, Alsisar, we've got Nawalgarh, all the other different areas.
Yeah,
but Shapura, the head seat of Shekhawati region. So that is the history behind this, and our own family belongs from Shapura region, and whenever my great grandfather used to travel to Jaipur, so the Shapura house was his residence, which we got converted into the hotel. So we have our roots from Shapura itself, and lately this place Shapura, there was an old Haveli which was almost 300 years old. So my father thought of converting this into a small homestay Haveli type, and we started with 5 rooms and a restaurant over there. So that is Shapura Haveli, and we are around 1 kilometer from the main highway. It is inside the market. You have to cross the market to go to the Haveli. It is not banking on the main road. So that is the charm of that place. So rest of other hotels, if you see, they are banking on the main roads. So the big bus, if you consider about a coach or a tempo traveler, that doesn't go. Not go. The roads are. So we have got our own jeeps. So we transfer them into our jeeps. That is again a different experience which we give to our guests who are coming to our place. So that is about the location. It is inside the market.
That's great. That's great. And we heard that the cuisine is very, very special in Shapura Haveli.
Yeah,
right?
it is. Yeah.
Yeah. So basically, recently we have developed our farm, which is around another kilometer half from our Haveli. So we are doing organic farming over there, basically called Shapura Farm. So we have got stables over there. We have got livestock. We have got horses, and we have started growing crops. We have got vegetables. So now what we are selling that experience to a guest, like a Shapura farm experience. So they can pluck the vegetables themselves while they are in the farm, and then we cook the same vegetables in front of them. So that is a different cuisine what we give to them over there. That's an experience. The traditional ladies of the village, they are cooking, and the way they make any vegetable or any pickle or any basically a roti also. So the style of making is very traditional. So that itself gives an experience to a guest to see how a roti or how a vegetable was made in earlier times. So that is a different experience in terms of cuisine.
So the entire farming is done within Shapura Haveli itself. I mean, for the cuisine.
Yeah.
Wow, that's great. That's very exclusive.
Now we are adding more rooms over there. The construction is almost 70% completed. So we have plans of adding more 17 rooms with the pool. So once this lockdown is lifted, the work will again start, and I think hopefully by October onwards we'll have 22 rooms with a pool. But as of now, we are doing we were doing 5 rooms and lunches since it's between Delhi and Jaipur. So we used to get a lot of lunches en route lunches with an experience.
So experience lunches.
Different activities. I mean, experience also with that, because we didn't want to compare ourselves with any midway restaurant, because a lunch can happen in any restaurant on a midway. So we wanted to sell an experience along with the lunch. So then we started doing all the different activities, which I'll tell you later on.
Right.
That's for the cuisine.
Yeah.
That's how it's a leisure hotel, and it's a great experience to stay in this hotel. and of course it is obvious to know, as a curious for the people, like when they are there at the Shahpura Haveli, how they can spend the time and quality time spending the time in your village, and how, if you can
Right.
give some details.
So yeah, definitely. So basically, the hotels which are in rural areas, which are offbeat destination, in those for those hotels, what matters the most is experience. You know what you are giving to your guests,
Yeah.
because there is nothing else to do. There are no
Yeah.
monuments. If there are monuments, very less, very few. But then rest is what you create over there and sell it as a destination. So what we started doing, as we started doing a village walk, which is inside the village, inside the city of Shahpura. So we have got traditional manufacture of bangles. So you can see how a
beautiful.
bangle is being manufactured.
Mhm.
Wow.
Yes,
Wow.
that is happening. Called Laki Churiyan,
Lucky Churi. Yes, yes, yes.
Mm.
which you see in Jaipur selling in almost the old city, all the shops. But in
Mhm.
Shahpura, you can see how a bangle is being manufactured. So that is surprising to a foreign tourist, but as well as to an Indian tourist has rarely seen how a bangle is being manufactured.
Mhm. Mhm.
One activity which we cover in the village walk. The second is manufacturing of traditional mojeris, the jutiyans.
Mhm.
Mm.
That is again a second. We have got a whole big market of these jutiyans. So one can also witness these manufacturing of traditional mojeris. So the walk is about say 1.5 hour, and then we have got temples, the old temples. So the guests can participate in the aartis in the evenings.
If I'm not wrong, even in my last visit, I experienced this pot making thing, which was really interesting for my guests.
Pot making is also there now. Pot making is there. Now you know what, Rohitji, the thing is that since everyone has started becoming a little bit modern, so now a very few houses are left which do this pot making by their own hand.
Oh.
They've got that machine which is electrical,
Mhm.
but that
Okay.
give that charm, you know, which you do it by your own hands. That has got more of art, and that is lovely to watch. But that is still
Mhm.
there in Shahpura in few houses. We still have a few houses in Shahpura where people are still making pots with their hands. So that is again one interesting. Can we cover that in our walk also? Apart from village
Really?
walk, we have camel cart rides. We have got camel rides. Shahpura's got a lot of camels, so we organize camel rides, camel cart rides. So we take them to our farm, or we take them to any house of a village where they can see how they spend their time, what are they doing. They can interact with the villagers. So this is another activity which we are doing in Shahpura. Then third, we have got an NGO which focuses on women empowerment. That is in
Mhm.
Shahpura itself.
Mhm.
It is by the
Lovely,
name of-
lovely.
it is by the name of my mother. It's called Rani Ratna Kumari Foundation Trust. So it's been almost now 4 years we are running this NGO. So it basically focuses on women empowerment, and we do block printing, embroidery, and tailoring. So all these ladies who are working over there, they are from the nearby region of Shahpura. And initially when we had started it, so we got a professional designer from Bagru who trained them. Bagru is near Sanganer. It's very famous for block printing in Jaipur.
Okay.
So we
Okay.
got a professional, and we kept him over there for around almost 6 months. So we trained those ladies, and then now they are pretty much trained, and now they manufacture different stuffs like cushion covers and cloths. So which we get them in Jaipur, and we have got a store in Jaipur. It's called Shahpura Collection. So whatever stuff is being sold is being manufactured from that NGO. So we make the tourists visit the NGO so they can see how the ladies are manufacturing the cloth, how they are doing the tailoring, how they are doing the embroidery work on a piece of cloth. They are making cloth bags, all different stuff. So basically, a lunch can also be combined with visit to the NGO. Suppose if we don't have a guest for staying, so we combine a lunch with visit to the NGO, because it's right adjoining to our property where the NGO is.
Mm-hmm.
That is how we sell our lunch with visit to the NGO. Then we have got one place which is called Virat Nagar, which is an old place which has got history in its own self, where these Pandavas they had rule over there.
Mahabharata.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mahabharata, yes.
Mm-hmm.
So that place is very famous. It has got old temples as well. So it is around 20 to 22 kilometers from Shahpura. So we give them a jeep ride to that place, and they can see the old monuments like the Mughal Darwaza. They've got a Jain temple. So that is basically a half-day excursion to that place. It is on the way to Sariska. Sariska is around ahead more 20 kilometers, and Viratnagar is 22. So Viratnagar has got a lot of good history in itself, and we have got it has got a mixture of Jainism and Buddhism as well.
Wow.
Then Sariska is definitely there. Sariska is around 40 kilometers from Shahpura. That is around 1 hour drive. So people who are interested to go for a safari, they can do it while they're staying in Shahpura as well. So we've got pretty much a lot of activities, for a guest staying with us for at least 2 nights.
Great.
So these are the activities one can do while staying in Shahpura.
Right. And this is great to hear that. So there are tons of activities where you are employing a lot of people, local people, helping local people, and as well as helping NGOs and giving a great experience, historical and cultural experience to the tourist. This is great to hear. There's quite a bit to see there. Wow.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, and the last thing in our conversation is Indian wedding is always like, a charm for outside people. And people definitely ask me that, hey, how does that happen? And, why it is so big and other things. So let me ask you, how's the wedding happens, or, Shahpura Haveli handles wedding and other things there?
Yeah, so in Shahpura Haveli, we have done a few mock weddings since the property is small right now. So now the inventory is less to do a big wedding. But of course, we have done a few mock weddings which require only 2-3 rooms, and they have to do a function. But in coming times, as I said, that we'll be having around 22 rooms, and then also we are pitching for tents. The farm which I told you.
Right.
Which has got a huge space. So we are trying to have some tents for a wedding. Suppose if a wedding query is there, so we can have tents over there, and the 22 rooms the guests can take over here. So it can be a combination of both the different themes. So that's how we can organize a wedding at Shahpura. Since the inventory is less, we've got 22 rooms. So 22 rooms at Shahpura Haveli and few tents at Shahpura Farm. So both combination, we can organize a wedding for about, say, 100-200 people.
Wow.
So that's nice. How we are focusing to target the wedding. Since the lockdown is, since because of Corona, the gathering would be less. So I think about between 100 to 150 people we will be able to accommodate in the property.
Absolutely. And mock wedding concept definitely looks fabulous to the people who want to experience the wedding.
Yeah, mock wedding is for all the inbound tourists. They are more interested in this mock wedding concept. So for that, I don't think so we require much inventory. 10-15 rooms is more than enough for that.
Right. So with that thought, thank you, Mr. Adhiraj, for joining us. This is wonderful talking to you. Thank you very much.
Thank you, Sanjay.
Thank you, Mr. Adhiraj. Thank you.